Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, scholars and dignitaries, welcome to another episode. Welcome to my world.
Hello, friends. So, when I was young, I used to love television and watched it every chance I had. My uncle was concerned, and I didn't understand why, but clearly he knew something I didn't. He used to say to me, "Hey, turn off that boob tube." Today they call it the idiot box. I didn't realize it then, especially because the television shows I watched were truly family oriented and family friendly. But that was before movies and television became abusive to individuals, demeaning to families, insulting to government, and simply disparaging of God. Yes, television, movies, and Hollywood itself has changed radically over the years, and not in a good way. It hasn't evolved and matured, but it's mutated and become coarse and crude, rude, foul, crass, and raw. Everywhere you turn, you see higher levels of gratuitous violence, sex, drama, drug use, and political correctness. It's as though there is no more vice or sin or crime, and on television, anything goes. And they've elevated to celebrity status people whose very character is questionable, if not repugnant, and whose lives should be hidden from our children and not applauded, but rejected. This alone is enough to warrant real concern by parents, except today they've grown accustomed to it and don't even care if their children are indoctrinated by this garbage or by these people. Well, I think the majority of people are starting to wake up to the truth and are getting sick and tired of it. Just look at the Oscars over the years. The Oscars were the height of Hollywood. It was fake news, of course, actors and actresses patting themselves on the back for delivering a believable performance and all, of course, while just acting. Viewership of the Oscars, once the hallmark achievement of Hollywood, has now dropped 78%. 78%. And the same is true for the Golden Globes, which honors both national and international films. Here, too, viewership has dropped to an all time low, and there is even talk about canceling the Golden Globes entirely. People aren't watching Hollywood movies anymore, and people don't care about Hollywood anymore. Hollywood has turned its back on viewers, and the viewers, the normal viewers, normal people, are throwing in the towel. And I'll give you one example why this is happening. A famous Hollywood producer said in a private conversation that he knows which movies the public wants and which movies make money, and lots of money, for Hollywood. These are the family friendly movies, even Christian centered and Christian themed movies. The people want these. And again, they make a ton of money. But the liberals in Hollywood have an agenda, an unspoken agenda, a private agenda to make movies that insult and demean, that spread confusion and propaganda, that undermine government and religion and normal day to day family life. Their goal is to push an agenda which is abnormal, disordered, and antithetical to the American value system and the American way of life. This isn't new. In the 40s and 50s, many Hollywood celebrities were active communists and communist sympathizers and used their celebrity status in Hollywood to promote communism throughout America. So this has been happening for years, and we, the people, have been inundated with everything from political propaganda to unfounded fears about religion to raw sex and violence to the normalization of every imaginable vice and sin. Even the news is contaminated. It's often toxic, manipulated, and even fabricated. It isn't factual. It's disguised opinion designed to lead and manipulate your thinking in one direction or another. The days of Walter Cronkite and Edward Murrow are gone, given to editorialism and commentary, couched in fact and New Age journalism. And that's why, if we watch any news shows at all, we only watch the local news, and even there, we watch it with a critical eye. In the comedy shows, I remember when comedy used to make you laugh. Now you cringe. In the 70s, Comedy Central opened, and all of a sudden it broke all barriers for decent comedy and featured outrageous, profane, and indecent comedy. And yes, programming that was open to all youth, all hours of the day and night. Ever since George Carlin's 7 Dirty Words You Can't Say on Television broke, those words and much more have infiltrated even primetime television. Viewers of one South Park episode heard one disgusting and profane word 162 times in one show. 162 times. The Parents Television Council, in one annual ranking of the 20 most popular primetime television shows for children ages 2 through 17, found that, based on foul language, sexual content, and violence, 8 of the most popular primetime broadcast shows were questionably suitable for children, and 6 of those most popular shows watched by children were ranked as not suitable for children. Only 6 of the shows most watched by children were age appropriate in content and effect. Lewd, indecent, explicit, misleading, foul, profane, and a dozen other findings shows that television, a medium which can have a tremendous power and influence over human growth and development, is used for all the wrong reasons and is simply inappropriate for not just youth and young adults, but for adults as well. I remember going to a dinner theater to see a Hollywood celebrity. Every other word was F this and even F you to the audience. We couldn't stand it, so we got up and walked out on him. And now this trash is on television for all to see and suffer. Not cool. And talk shows feature the bizarre, the people in society that society tries to tolerate, but seriously does not want to emulate, much less promote. And yet there it is, in our faces, morning, noon, and night. Do you really have to give a DNA test to someone to prove he is the father? I know it's innocent until proven guilty, but to deny your own child is truly sad. But this is what television is teaching our youth. Yes, welcome to Hollywoodland. So, yes, of course, watching television could be enjoyable. Even with only a few stations, much less the 1,500 we have today, it seems that you can always find a good show that was agreeable and pleasing to all. And people used to watch a lot of television. Researchers estimated that students, by the time they graduate, spend 11,000 hours in the classroom, but 22,000 hours watching television. So, of course, yes, there are many good things about television. It can be watched for entertainment, news, education, culture, weather, sports, and even music, with cable TV offering some 100 different music channels. Television can introduce us to different cultures, different opinions, and different ideas. And it can bring families together to watch classic shows. I still remember watching some of his favorite shows with my father. Television is entertainment. Television is education. It is culture and art, drama and comedy, and reality and escape. Orson Welles once said, I hate television. I hate it as much as peanuts, but I can't stop eating peanuts. In this regard, so too, television is irresistible. But today, though, networks have changed television too much, and they use it to manipulate us as they manipulate the shows. And it has become abusive to their fans and supporters, their customers. Everyone knows that. You treat the customers well, you treat them with respect, you give them what they want to keep them coming back. But Hollywood has changed over these years. Now they force bad television on us. They force bad advertising on us. They force profanity, cultural dissonance, character assassination, and alternative political ideologies. And yes, television today certainly can be annoying and irritating. The usual season run for a new television show was 32 to 40 episodes. But now I'll start to watch a new show and really get into it, and then they pause it after 6 weeks until the next season. Well, then I lose interest in that show and just don't get back into it again. The commercials are extremely annoying, and there are so many. There are too many commercials, too many inappropriate commercials, and then they blast the sound and volume levels excessively during commercials. And sometimes I just turn the TV off. There is too much gratuitous and graphic sex, violence, vulgarity, and profanity. TV has become coarse and crude and profane, and the plots and storylines are becoming more outrageous and unbelievable with too much drama, over the top drama, and fear and anger and anxiety instilled into viewers. And now, more than anything, Hollywood elevates political correctness into an absurd level onto us, shaming us if we disagree with a political party or issues like climate change or population control. Meanwhile, often promoting celebrities who themselves are self destructive or inappropriate to role model status. And here's the rub. Philo Farnsworth, the inventor of the television, had a vision for his invention, a good and respectable vision. He thought his television would become the world's greatest teaching tool. He thought it would wipe out illiteracy. He thought people would see undistorted news and facts as they happen live, and no longer would we have to rely on people interpreting or distorting the news for us. He thought we would be watching sporting events and symphony orchestras and good, clean, and respectable movies. And he thought that the television would bring about world peace. We could see and learn about people in other countries and learn about our differences and correct any misunderstandings. According to his vision of the proper uses for television, it would bring world peace, and war would be a thing of the past. I'm sorry to say, Mr. Farnsworth, that television has turned in the other direction. Now, for decades, there was a National League of Decency to monitor films, and before cable stations, there was a monitoring of television stations by the Federal Communications Commission, and each network themselves had their own censors to stop inappropriate material. In fact, there was even a pledge in 1934 that read, quote, I condemn all indecent and immoral motion pictures and those which glorify crime or criminals. I promise to do all that I can to strengthen public opinion against the production of indecent and immoral films and to unite with all who protest against them. And Hollywood was all the better for it. But good ideas go the way of the dinosaur, and Hollywood abandoned all pretense of self restraint, and this is where we are today. Parents are concerned. The censors of the past television networks have faded away. The result is that movies, television, games, the internet, music, and even news shows are becoming increasingly more graphic in violence and fetishes, and that's becoming disconcerting. And as the media portrays a culture of violence, sex, and profanity, it has a social norming effect, especially for those who cannot differentiate between entertainment and reality. There's been hundreds of studies proving this. For many, what they see and experience becomes reality and, eventually, normal for society. The question then remains, what is this doing to our children? What is it doing to everyone? You know, I was brought up to believe in God, family, and country. That's my life, and that's my lifestyle. Support that, and we're copacetic, but insult that, and, well, let's say we don't have anything in common, so we'll part ways. Not bitterly, not in an angry and spiteful way, but, well, if you don't have my welfare in mind, then you go your way, and I'll go mine. So, for my part, television is dead to me. And just one word of advice, you may wish to turn off your television too before it's too late. Hey, be safe, be well, and may God bless.